Welcome back, everyone, to the Modern Car Wash podcast. I am joined once again by co-host Shane Groff. Shane, how you doing?
Good.
All right. And our special guest is fellow innovator. I don't know. Zach Myers, how are you?
I'll do well, Kevin. Thanks for having me.
Zach, let's get some background info on you. First off, I guess, what's your role at Innovator? You got the swag on, so.
Yep, I got the fancy Innovator shirt now, so we're in the team.
Yeah. What exactly do you do for Innovator?
So I'm in a sales and support role. So I do outside sales, inside sales, parts orders, and then I also do support for our customers if they're having any trouble with our equipment or starting up.
So Innovated is certainly a growing company. If you're watching this online, behind us, probably 20 feet, is the Innovated space, the warehouse, and how many employees?
We're rated about 36 total.
36. So of those, there's probably very few that are actually customer facing, other than you and probably Stefan and a few of the other people. But you have somewhat become a face of Innovative Car Wash.
It's maybe more so a voice now.
Yeah.
A lot of phone work.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess we're at all the trade shows, out with customers.
Yeah.
One of the faces.
Yeah. So your background, your history, though, is you started with Hoffman Car Wash. So it's not like you're just like new to the car wash industry. This has been a long time coming for you.
Yeah, so I've worked for Hoffman Car Wash for the last 17 years. I started in 2006 at our East Greenbush location as a line attendant. It's actually funny, my buddy was working at East Greenbush, and he was leaving, and I didn't have a job at the time. So he asked Jared, who's still a manager there, he's like, hey, you should hire my buddy Zach. And then I filled out an application, I went, and I started working for Jared. And then, kind of didn't expect it to be my career, and here I am 17 years later. I've done all kinds of different roles with the company. I worked my way from line attendant there to supervisor there. I did that for a year or two, and then I was like, I'm going to try something different, and I went over to our landscape department.
Yeah.
At that time, it was an outside business. It was kind of like the first outside business that Hoffman did.
Meaning outside business, like other businesses would hire Hoffman.
More residential than business, and some businesses.
Yeah.
So we would first, all spring was taking care of all the car washes, getting the flowers planted, grass, ground repair, all that stuff. And then after that, we would go and just like a normal landscape company, we'd go work in. I primarily did hardscape because I'm a bigger guy, I can lift the sticks. The ball in the china shop, that's what Scott Kelly's. So I think is I wasn't fragile enough with the flowers.
Yeah.
I would just grab the big stones and throw them around.
So Scott Kelly is he runs our landscaping team for Hoffman Car Wash. And what's interesting is the amount of time and effort that we put into the landscape. And I'm curious, and I think we've probably touched on it on the podcast as far as, I remember one episode talking about branding and things, and that's part of the Hoffman Car Wash brand is the landscaping. But I'm curious from you and actually working in that, was that something maybe you didn't necessarily have an appreciation for until you got out there and saw what a difference that great landscaping could make?
Yeah, it's a lot of hard work that goes into it. Flower week, back then it was a week. Now with all locations, it's probably a month. But it was all hands on deck for 50, 60 hours. You were just go, 5-6 locations a day trying to get all the flowers in the ground. And not only that, it's then you go back to the greenhouse and then getting ready for next year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just it's a year-round process. I think landscape it's fun in the summer, but it's a year-round process.
How's your house look?
My house?
Landscaping.
It's good.
Shane, what about you? How's your green thumb?
I live in the woods, so it's
Well, you live in Vermont,
yeah,
which is the Green Mountain State. So I hope it's some green there, huh?
yeah, up in the canopy of the trees. Our horses take care of most of our grass.
I was laughing today because we had some snow in this area, and when we bought our house, I told my wife that, listen, I'll do the landscape, but I want no decision making. Like, it's just not, like, tell me where to dig and I'll dig. I don't want to maintain it or whatever. So she had bought 3 peonies that were supposed to go in the ground a couple months ago, which are still in a pot in our driveway. So I'm sitting there in the morning in our bedroom. You can overlook the driveway, and I'm looking down at these 3 peonies pots, and I'm like, well, she told me to do it, but she didn't tell me where to place it. So I'm like, am I going to get blamed for this? Or so the jury's still out on that one. Yeah, I'm going to get blamed.
Well, he watches this podcast.
Yeah. She listens religiously, let me tell you. So landscape, then you move on. Now you eventually become a store manager.
Yes.
And you were Amsterdam is one of our locations, Amsterdam, New York, but you had an opportunity to become the manager of a brand new facility, which we opened December 2020. So we're coming out of COVID. It's funny because the other day I was looking at it. When we open a store, we have these giant flags that say like now open. You imagine like a pizzeria on the side of the road, right? And I have a photo of you running through like the yard of the car wash, holding this thing ready to go. How was it just opening? And this is probably something that our audience could relate to, is opening a store, being a manager and opening a new store. You have this nice shiny new toy, but I'm sure there's a lot of pressure that goes into it.
Yeah, there definitely is. And luckily, Route 7 was my second go around because I opened Amsterdam.
Yeah, we do. Okay.
Yeah. Amsterdam, I think, was actually easier, and it was my first time. That market was so starved for a car wash that it was like, I mean, we were profitable the first month there. That was like a huge success.
Much simpler building.
Yeah, much simpler, didn't have all the expenses that there are now. It was also 10 years ago, so things were a little cheaper. But yeah, Route 7 was very challenging because we were coming out of COVID. There was this huge building. It was 170 feet conveyor.
Yeah.
I mean, the back room you could drive a Buick through. And all the latest equipment. I think it was like innovateIT's like the second generation of our products, like really being showcased. And it was just a huge challenge. Just, you have everybody at your store. You have ITs there, your marketing's there. Our service guys are just finishing up. They're, making sure everything's working. And like, you're just trying to wash cars and do everything, but you have all these people around. Like, so it's just super challenging, but we pulled it off. It's really in the groundwork, like getting your team ready beforehand. It was luckily that we had several people come over, like my assistant manager and a couple of my team leaders already worked in the car wash. I didn't have any brand new team leaders. So they already kind of knew the paces, but it was kind of like we had to iron out, like different managers have different styles. So they've been working for other people, and what they did compared to like what my expectation was getting everyone on the same page. So that was very challenging. It didn't start off as fast as everybody had hoped. And it was like we had another Hoffman Car Wash right down the road. So it was tough because we were doing cars, but we were washing like the other stores unlimited. It's actually, I think it's helped reshape how they distribute the unlimited.
It's for some context let's go back to Amsterdam, which was the original store that you opened. That store, when it opened, and when you look at it, is a very, I don't want to call it a box, but it's, it's 4 walls and a pitched roof, and there's a clock tower, and that's it, and probably got built in half the time that Route 7, which is our Route 7 location, has our new building design. It's a signature look for us. It's, different pitches, different areas of the roof. There's bump outs, and Route 7 was designed to be a much larger car wash too. You talked about you could drive a Buick in the back room, arguably the biggest back room in the country, right? Like it's pretty large. But Innovative certainly uses that location as a. If you've come to visit us, chances are you've stopped at Route 7 location. But when you're talking about car counts and things along those lines, it's not really a residential area. It's on a road that is it's a commuter road. And the people that work around there were working from home. It just like, it was like and now it's starting to gain momentum. We're building the program there, but I remember the day after we opened, the business right next to us put up like a brand new like brand sign that completely blocked our sign, and that's a fast road too. So it was like all these things that kind of like culminated into the yeah. But it's a beautiful store.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah. So what? So you were there for
Year and a half, 2 years. So 2020, I came to Innovate in July of 2022. So a little over 2 years. So my transition to Innovate, I was a store manager for almost a decade. We had all this growth going on, but the corporate positions were kind of filled. There isn't going to be a district manager anytime soon. So and I've always I wanted to do more. I kind of felt like I was getting a little stagnant as a store manager. So I was always looking for a new opportunity, something else, a new challenge. And then the Innovative role came along. I originally just started as my original title was Customer Success Specialist. So I came over to basically handle any support calls that came in. And then that kind of slowly developed into, okay, now you're going to do parts orders, and now you're going to do a little bit of sales. And, it's just kind of evolving. Pretty soon I'll just be, running all of it.
yeah.
So.
You'll be the host of this podcast. You'll be one of us. Like what we can use it there. Yeah.
Zach, when I met you back 2013, you got stationed out there at Amsterdam before the store was really even open. I mean, we were just putting equipment in, and you were there every day. How does an experience like that really play into what you're doing today?
I think it's awesome for store managers to go on site and help with standing up the equipment and the last finishing touches of the building before you open, because it like the back of your hand. If you have a problem, I remember when we were building, I can go back. This is where this junction box is for that. And it really helps me today. Is I've stood up equipment, and I've always taken a curious in nature. So I always wanted to know what this equipment is and what it does. So being there early and seeing the install and knowing getting to know how the equipment works, it helps you when you have a problem with that equipment. So I remember when we were putting this together, this bracket went here, this bearing was like this. So I really think today I've been in that person's shoe. I know when you're about to open a store and you're missing a part, or you have trouble with something, being able to talk to somebody who's going to take action quickly, knowing that, you have deadlines to meet and there's a lot of pressure on you.
I think that's key, is what you said, is you've been in their shoes where something goes down or you need a part or whatever it is, you know what it's like, and you're going to act fast and take care of it.
It helps me daily is just being in that customer's shoes. They call me and something is down and they can't wash cars, and they got a line full of customers yelling at you, trying to get back open, and you're on the phone with somebody. So I've definitely been there, and I know that, you got to take a swift approach and take action and get them back up and go.
Yeah.
It certainly seems like when we get out and we're touring other people's facilities or the trade shows that you mentioned, that experience has really played a huge role in you developing some of these new relationships that you work with every day, whether through sales or support.
Yeah, it definitely helps. I worked, every day with our equipment in a wash, so I know how it's supposed to work, and I know the benefits. This is really awesome because it does this, or I would have changed when I came over and said, hey, we should probably change, a little something here and there to make it more user friendly when you're at the store. So just having that knowledge, and the confidence of I believed in our products before I even came over, it just gives you that confidence to go out there and say I'm not just selling you this because I want you to sell it, or I want to make more commission or anything like that. I'm selling you this because I actually believe in it, and I think it's a solution to your problem.
You look at the pretty innovative package that you had at the Route 7 location, and what were those key pieces of equipment, or what equipment really jumped out at you as far as wow, that really solved the solution that I was having over here?
I think the dispense it was probably the one that really did it with being able to isolate each valve. Before you had to shut down your whole thing just to work on one product.
Yeah.
You can make changes on the fly that really helped a lot. If you had an issue, you could solve it without shutting down your operation.
I can imagine that just the technology or the precision had to change from.
Oh, vastly. I mean, from starting at Route 7 or at Amsterdam, when we first opened there was no kiosks. We were brushing the back of every car, spraying every car, even putting wiper bags on the back of every car. It took like 5 people and 2 greeters to do 100 cars an hour. And now, then you get to Route 7, you have tellers, no prep, no more brushing, all of that. And now it's like, if everybody calls out today, I can still do it.
Yeah. When you look at, I guess, along those same lines, you've been in the industry for over a decade. What has been the biggest change, do you think?
It's got to be the technology and automation. Like I said before, it was like the Wild Wild West back then. Like on a busy day, your greeter had on a belt, a bar of soap, and a handful of cash and was out there. I remember when I started in East Greenbush, if we had 2 credit cards in a row on a busy day, it would take forever to process the second one. And you had to manually, and then we go to tablets there. Now we have kiosks. And then we were spraying cars. Now we're not spraying cars. And it's like, you got 2 people and it's easy. You're not killing yourself. Your feet are still dry.
You can tell his age, because when I started, when we ran a credit card, we placed it on the stand, put the paper on it, gave the card back. You didn't know if it was going to clear or not at the end of the day.
We had those, we used to do those for the state washes.
Oh, yeah.
Because the state had some different policy with their fleet vehicles where you had the actual manual swiper. And that was, on busy days, you just go through for free.
Yeah. So your original store that you started with, which is in East Greenbush, New York, that actually was the last Hoffman Car Wash to go Prepless. And it just happened last, 2 weeks ago or a month ago or whatever it was. And it's interesting because that store probably has our most loyal customer base. Like people go there, they know Jared's name, who's the manager, they know everyone, right? And now this is a pretty big change, and it sounds like it's gone fairly smooth, like people kind of understand it. So in Amsterdam, you were a prepping model, and Route 7 was a prepless model.
Yeah.
Other than what changes, it has to be, it is way more efficient. The controlling labor. Were there any surprises or things that you didn't think of that came with that prepless model?
How many people would still ask you to prep? Yeah. So it's you always get the guy spraying my wheels, we're going to spray your wheels in there. Just go through, give it a chance. If it doesn't come out clean, come back, we'll do it again. And they rarely come back. It's just fast. I thought it would be easy transition, we're just not spraying anymore. Yeah. But you have to realign your whole staff chart and where you're placing your people. So more focused on, taking the guys that we're spraying, putting them outside, talking to the customer, trying to build your unlimited package.
You're just reallocating those resources or focusing. So, hey, instead of this kid brushing the car, now he's out there trying to grow the unlimited program.
I remember, I think it was still 2013 when Zach opened that store. You could see from here to Jex Pro, that is how far there was a self-service in-bay automatic operation.
So for those on the audio side,
maybe 1,000 feet, and they had the standard canister vacs out there you'd pay, and Zach's store was our first Hoffman with free vacs, and I was there. It was after they opened because I remember it was warm outside. It was summertime, and we opened it. It was brutally cold.
Yeah, it was the beginning of December when we opened.
And I remember whoever I was with was like, man, Zach, don't you get mad at all those in-bay automatic customers coming down using your free vacs? I'll never forget. Zach's like, nope, it's an opportunity for us to win them over and sign them up. And he brings that same attitude today, to everything he does.
Yeah.
Was 10 years ago. Can you believe it?
What's crazy is that the free vacuum model is standard now,
Oh, yeah.
and how you had to take a leap of faith to adopt that, and now it's, like I said, it's the standard model. Was there any hesitation with you?
Yeah, I mean, when we were figuring out the free vacuums, it was like, I don't know if these are going to work. We ran the first pipe underground during construction, and they ended up breaking it during construction, and they sealed it back up, but they must not have sealed it all the way, because I remember like a few weeks after opening, I'm like, I don't have any suction. I'm like trying to figure it out. And then I open up the bottom door of the main vacuum, and there's this tidal wave of nasty vacuum water comes flowing out because it was sucking the groundwater up. So it had a leak, and I'm like, I don't know if these are a good idea. So like for the first half of the winter, like the one side was down, and then in the spring they came and ran it above ground. But you could definitely see like that lot was full, a lot for free vacuums. And I mean, you did have your people that were coming in for freebies, but you walk out there and have a conversation. Like, your car's so dirty, why don't you just wash it here? And I would go out and give them free washes a bunch of times and, try out our wash,
Yeah.
And then, I'll never forget the first day we opened, I saw a guy, he was kind of skeptical going through, he was out in the vacuum lot. I go, I'm going to give you a free car wash. Let me know how you like it. If you don't like it, I'll understand. And he went through got the free car wash, and then came right back around and signed up for an unlimited. And he was an unlimited member for the 7 years that I was there. I'm sure he's still there today.
I think they fall in that category of like the people who don't trust the equipment or don't trust the brushes, and it's kind of become obsolete. Like, it's an old-fashioned way of thinking. Do you still find it? Did you still find that when you were?
A little bit. It's wearing. I mean, now we have the option to go touchless in our tunnels, so there's people that do that, but it's wearing. I mean, the way technology is now.
Yeah. What do you think of all the high-pressure equipment that Innovated has? AVW wraps, correct? Right? Yeah. And they're designed to not hold on to things, right? So, but this is all insider baseball, and it's how do you convey that to? But I think as unlimited memberships grow and people's friends or families do it, they realize that it's very safe, for sure. Yeah. All right, well, I guess this is a question for both of you is that, speaking of equipment, what can we look forward to in 2024? I mean, we're only 20 days away, so.
Well, we have some new exciting revisions to some of our products we've been working hard on. Some will debut at Southwest, some at Nashville. We have a lot more innovation on our control side that we're working very hard and diligently on right now to bring some of our technology that we use at our own washes and make it available for everybody. What do you say?
I think 2023 me and you really hit our stride with sales, figuring out like good ebbs and flows and process. So we really built up some momentum. I'm hoping just kind of bring that along into 2024.
It's like you guys have a solution to a problem that a lot of operators have, and how do you get out in front of that? And obviously you're here because you have a solution, and car washes. That's for sure. When you look at, and Shane, you talked about the what's ahead, are there areas that you're particularly focused on from a research and development standpoint, or are there pain points that you still see operators having, and Innovate's going to be that solution?
For sure. I mean, we and Zach can attest to it through his customer support is, at Hoffman's, we're somewhat spoiled a little bit. We've got a robust service team, a robust installation crew. All those guys have been with us, 15 plus years. Not all the car washes that we're dealing with have that. Some of them have 2, 3, 4 washes. They've been in business 2, 3, or 4 years, and they haven't built that team. So, you always have to listen to what their pain points are and match up a product with them to help them out, like Zach was saying earlier. And certainly, with the industry moving towards electric brushes and all-electric motors, a lot of our control systems will play right into that, making on-site support by the car wash staff a lot easier for these owner-operators.
So does the movement become more, instead of, you can really control it anywhere?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you as an owner-operator, you can, your staff calls you, you can log in with your iPad, your iPhone, Google, whatever, or you call on Zach and our customer care team. They can do the same, and I always tell the customer it's like mentoring their staff, because you can have their staff stand in front of the screen, and our support care team can operate it, and they can see where you're going, and chances are next time they run into something like that, they'll remember what they saw through that mentoring session.
Cool. Anything to add there?
No, I think Shane basically covered it all. It's, once we can get into the machine, we can basically figure out what's going on. And then it's always a good learning, like, hey, this is why it's doing what it's doing, and here's how you fix it, and here's how to avoid it in the future.
What, as far as like, when you're, again, in that research and development, like, has there been any look at AI? Yeah, there is kind of AI to an extent, but incorporating more of the technology is, it's forever changing. So, or it might not even be that. It might just be the way customers call and interact, or they need support. Like, any growth in that area?
We certainly have the think tank. Anybody knows Tom Jr. knows that anytime he comes to the office, he's got about 101 ideas that he thought of just yesterday, and
100 that he forgot.
And being operators and having nearly 30 washes, high volume washes as test locations for us, and the feedback of all those managers and team leads and district managers, it just really feeds right into what we're doing. A lot of times people ask Zach and I when we're at the shows, well, what makes you different than the guys in the booth next to you? And that's what I always go to is we're Hoffman Innovated, not Hoffman Car Wash, but we're all Hoffman, and we're all one big team. And, we started in 1965, so that brings a lot of experience, to stand up to any challenge that somebody brings us. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really gave us a great foundation to be successful.
Zach, when you're at these trade shows, are there any areas or common through lines to questions that people are asking?
A lot of it is like the support end, like what happens when it breaks? Like what happens if this happens?
You're like, it doesn't break.
It doesn't break.
Well, realistically, you're working in a very wet environment. Yeah. A lot of cars going through, things are going to happen. It's a matter of, though, do you have the right process in place and are you quick enough to respond?
I really think that our support and, coming from operations, it's, again, we've been in your shoes. We know, if something goes down, we're ready to get it out. Fix it.
Yeah. I think it's such a unique thing, too. And I think it goes for a lot of people that work for Innovated, and also for Hoffman Car Wash. Like, you've worked in these washes before. It's not like Innovated was hiring a customer support person and they got someone who used to do, support for Xerox or something like that. Like, you've actually lived and breathed the car wash world for sure.
I'm just going to feed you the typical customer support line.
Shut it off, turn it back on. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't help you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for any inconvenience. Like, yeah, we are sorry, but we're going to get it fixed.
But how much of that is, do you take ownership of, and like your response time and setting your own metrics and things along those lines?
Yeah. There's always room for improvement, but I feel like, it's always a balancing act. We try to respond to everything within, an hour or so. It's always like, I give customers my cell phone number, everything. I'm answering calls on weekends. So we're always available. Just, give us a call or email. We'll get back to you right away.
So, yeah. Shane, you got anything else for Zach to wrap things up?
No, like I said, I've been working with Zach for 10 years as a big fan of when he made this transition over to Innovated. I really look forward to the future. We're, our team is really building it. It really looks good. We've got a lot of talented people just sitting around this table and in the back building these products every day.
It's funny when you're like, what's the difference between you and the booth next to you? You should be like, well, we have a podcast. And do they have a podcast? Yeah. So, yeah.
We'll remember that one.
Well, any final closing thoughts there, Zach? You want to like plug your YouTube channel or anything? Or
I don't really have any YouTube channels, nothing like that. No.
I think what is important, though, we kid, though, but when you think of YouTube and just videos and things like that, is like Innovated is in the process of becoming more, getting everything online, easy access, whether it's startup videos, maintenance videos, things along those lines. So those are conversations that, well, there's already documentation and things available, but continue to build out that robust platform as well is key, and it helps your job and helps your customers for sure. Yeah. We always ask what you're watching, what are you streaming, what are you binge watching? Were you prepared for this question?
I knew this question was coming, and I've tried lately to get into a series, so I'm kind of in between, but my ADD just hasn't let me do that.
Yeah. But you're an F1 fan. We knew that.
I like Formula One. I watch a lot of YouTube videos. I mean, besides the Modern Car Wash.
Yeah. What kind of YouTube videos?
Just like, stuff where you don't really have to pay serious attention to.
Yeah.
I watch this guy, he's like got a concrete company, and he like walks through his concrete jobs and how they're done. And then there's another guy that Vice Grip Garage. He like finds an old car that's been sitting in a field for like 15 years, and he tries to get it running, and then he drives it home.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't know how much of it is actually like somebody on the side is doing it, but like he walks through it, like checking the carburetor, getting the carburetors unstuck, and the whole time, he's driven some sketchy stuff on the highway. So
you just don't see the tow strap really loaded vehicle in front of it.
Well, it's funny because like YouTube, you think is very organic, or like just someone with their iPhone or whatever. But there's some channels. I mean, they are full blown productions, and the model's shifting because it's like before, like say you were like a DIY like home builder, like woodwork or whatever it was. HGTV would come knocking, like, hey, we want to test you for this. And now these people are like, you know what, I'm good. Like, I want to do my own thing. Like, I can make just as much or more money, like, just on YouTube. So
you can do it your way, too. Filter, but
Shane, what about you? Were you done with Yellowstone yet?
Well, no, still waiting on it. Yeah, but no, haven't really got into any other series, waiting for that and all the spin-offs.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
All right. Very good. Well, Zach, thanks for indulging us here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
What's the best way people will get a hold of you?
So support at innovatecarwash.com or ZachM at innovatecarwash.com.
All right.
ZACM.
ZACM. No H, no K.
Just ZACM.
All right. Thanks a lot, buddy.